Hi everyone, today I want to introduce to you the horror movie, Cabin Fever 3. A squad headed to a secret base where there is a lot of rotten corpses, among which the only living man was taken away by them. The helicopter flew into the island with a research room located in a cave deep in the mountain. The epidemic was being researched by Dr. Edward and his team. The blonde girl, Bridget, looked at the CCTV. People have discovered 12 bodies and 1 survivor. This is a very unusual phenomenon. His name is Porter, who has since been brought back for research. The black-haired girl's name Camilla remind everyone that Porter is also a patient. The doctor calls him Patient Zero. The doctor then wake up Porter, with Bridget and Camilla standing outside. Porter wake up and tried to escape, but the guard electric shocked him and forced him onto a chair. Dr. Edward told him that the world is on the verge of facing a pandemic. And Porter is the only one who carries the diseases. The virus does not spread through the air, but there is no cure for it at the moment. He insists that he just wants to find his son. The doctor told him that his son has died. Porter couldn't believe the news. He tried to stand up but then was electric shock again. On the land nearby, Marcus is a young man who is about to get married. He met his close friend Dobbs and the two happily hug each other. Dobbs jokingly blames Marcus that because of his marriage, their business has to take a halt. At the resort, a guard heard a loud scream so he ran towards it. Turns out it was just a couple who was having intercourse. Marcus' fiancée, Kate, is greeting the guest. Marcus' brother, Josh, wasn't liked by Kate. Looking at his fiancée's expression, Marcus came and talked with Josh. But Josh kept teasing Marcus. At the same time, Josh's girlfriend, Penny, also arrived. The guard came up and talked to Kate's family. Turns out the couple who were having sex are Josh and Penny. Later, everyone was visiting the locals. Penny was looking at a bracelet in a local shop. When she was about to leave, the shop owner stopped her. She said that the necklace is a good luck charm, and wanted to give it to Penny. Penny tried to reject the offer, but then Dob came and accepted the bracelet for her. Everyone went to the beach. Josh and Dob have prepared a surprise for Marcus. They prepare a yacht and plan to take the groom to a bachelor party. Kate reminds Marcus that he should have fun, but he should not be close to the forbidden section at the north. The two kissed goodbye, and they headed off. At the research lab, Porter was looking at the lab rat. He tried to talk to Camilla, but she grew impatient at his constant questioning. She got angry, saying that everything is legal. Porter gave her an ultimatum: either they let him call his wife, or he will kill himself. Bridget heard the conversation and tried to calm him down. Porter asked Camilla to come closer, told her I'm not just a threat to myself, then hang up. Dr. Watson thinks that Porter is a special subject, but Camilla thinks that he is just a regular person. After 2 months of research, there is no new progress. The doctor then showed Camilla a picture of a person who was dead because of the disease. He said that, in order to save humanity, there will be a sacrifice. In the cell, Porter uses a fishing hook to bleed himself. Bridget and others were going to do the regular morning checkup. Porter suddenly charges toward and captures the first guard who walked in. Porter smeared his blood all over him, but was stopped when another guard came in with a gun. The security bell rang. Bridget and Camilla tried to calm everyone that this is only a small incident, but then they received the news that the lab will be locked down in 48 hours. All the staff then moved to the evacuation chamber, and wait for further notice. Back to Marcus and his friend, their boat is heading to the bachelor party. Penny knows that Marcus often gets lost when he was a child, so she gave him a miniature flashlight. Marcus hugs Penny to thank her. Josh seems to be jealous. Josh brings out his present, which is a bag of weed he has purchased. Marcus wants to throw the weed away, but Dob tried to convince him. Seems like Marcus was about to be swayed. Josh suddenly complained about Kate. Marcus got angry and went downstairs. Penny went after him. She removed her clothes and tried to comfort Marcus. Turns out that the two were in a relationship before. Marcus refuses and reminds Penny that he is about to get married. But Penny said that although Josh is funny, she doesn't love him. Marcus then said that he has to go to the bathroom to avoid Penny. On the deck, Dob asked Marcus to check out the island. Marcus saw a house, but the guide said that the island was abandoned, and no one is home. The group then went on a canoe to get to the island. Josh and Penny went for a swim, while Marcus and Dob prepared food. When Dob messed up the tent, Marcus told him that Kate's father has found him a job. Dob got angry, because the two was supposed to do business together. Marcus said that he has never agreed to it. While Penny and Josh were swimming, they discovered that the sea was filled with dead fish. They went back to the shore and Penny wants to return. Marcus and Dob was surprised at Penny's request. Josh explains that it was just fish left behind by the fishing boat. Penny got angry because Josh doesn't understand her. When she was drying herself, she saw her skin changed color, and her nose starts to bleed. Back to the lab, the guard who got infected is now in critical situation. He vomits a ton of fluid, the spreading is getting faster. The doctor thinks that he can make a vaccine for the diseased. He told Camilla to distract Porter, stopping him from messing with their work. He and Bridget then went to the lab. Camilla asked Porter what he was doing. He said with a menacing tone that they will have to die eventually, and said that Camilla is different from everyone else. He suddenly hears noises, and suspect that Camilla was only trying to distract him. Camilla explains that everyone is trying to work on a cure, but Porter knew that he is the one who carries the disease, and he will have to stay there forever. Dr. Edward was talking to a patient and asked him to stay quiet. Bridget told him that there is only one protective suit. He replies that he is going to wear it. The doctor asked if Bridget believes in him and she said 100%. The doctor then put on the protective gear and head in. The flesh of the victim was rotten. When the doctor injected him with some type of medicine, he won't stop screaming. Edward then asked his assistant to go into the room and held him, but then the victim vomited all over her. She let out a scream and ran outside, locked the doctor inside the chamber. She tried to wash off the substance but it didn't work. She lied on the floor, crying in pain. The three boys were eating and chatting on the beach when suddenly they heard Penny scream. Inside the tent, Penny's skin started to fester. Josh told her that it was probably just allergy. He went to get the first aid kit but then saw the same mark on his leg. They put on medicine and then have sex. Outside, Marcus and Dob went for a walk to give the couple some space, but then heard Penny screamed again. Marcus told Dob about his relationship with Penny. He couldn't believe it. He then promised to keep it a secret. As the night was approaching, the two went back to the camp. Josh didn't notice Penny was in pain. When he finished going down on her, he realizes something was off. Penny then vomited all over Josh. He freaks out and ran outside. The two men return and was shocked when they saw Josh covered in blood. He then told his brother that Penny is sick. At nightfall, there was no signal on the island. Marcus remembers the house he saw before, so he and Dob went to find the house. As they were walking, Dob and Marcus got into an argument. Dob said that Marcus was trying to impress Penny. After a while, they both saw a light in the distance, so they went to check. Back at the campsite, Penny was sitting in the tent. She wanted to get off the island, but Josh didn't want to leave his brothers behind. Penny asked Josh, what if Marcus left him behind? Josh didn't know what to say. He saw the infection on his hand and left the tent. Josh tried to put medicine on his skin but it was too painful. He screamed at Penny and asked her to stay in the tent. Dob and Marcus were investigating the abandoned house. The door was locked and there was no sign of human. Dob was angry, but Marcus found a window and the two entered the house. Marcus tried to call Josh but there was no signal. They discover a transmissive device in the middle of the house. Dob thinks that they can use it to call for help. When the two was looking, they realized that the table was filled with blood. They accidentally bumped into a switch, and the window was locked. They were trapped inside the house. Dob started to freak out. Marcus tried to calm him. Marcus found a map in the room. He told Dob not to touch anything, and proceed to find an axe. The two starts looking for a way to escape. Back at the shore, Penny is getting desperate. Her condition is getting worse. Josh tried to use the walkie-talkie then suddenly receive a signal. The one who replies said his name is Dr. Edward. He told Josh that there is a lab on the island that can cure them, but the signal was lost before Josh can learn the location. He told Penny to go with him to find the lab, but she didn't respond. He tried to drag her, but her arm was ripped apart. Josh screamed and ran out of the tent. He told Penny that he will find someone to save her. Marcus and Dob found a basement inside the house. Upon seeing the blood on the ground, Dob is frightened. They saw a sign that said emergency exit, and they went in. Inside, they found a lab. The light was flickering, the room is a mess and blood was everywhere. Suddenly there was a noise behind them. Marcus uses the axe to open the door, revealing an infectious man. Carrying a gun, his skin was pale white and rotten. The two escaped the room and ran away. The guy went after them. Marcus and Dobbs found a room and hide. When they heard the footstep was getting smaller, they leave the room and ran. As they headed to the stair, Dobbs suddenly trips and fell. The flashlight reveals a horrible scene. The hallway was filled with a dead rotten corpse. Marcus tells Dobb to hurry, but a corpse suddenly moved. Frightened, Dobb ran back to the hall and locked the door, leaving Marcus on the other side with the corpse. Marcus successfully killed the corpse with his axe. Dob was alone. He uses his lighter and proceeds to find his way out. He then confronted the infected man from before. The man held his gun up and said, he can't let anyone leave the island. Dob was shaking and asked to spare his life. He said that they can find a place that can cure them. The man ignored Dob and pulled the trigger. However, the gun recoiled and ripped off his hand, then punctured his face. Seeing the man was dead, Dob picked up the gun and left. Marcus found a lab. He then saw the map of the facility and a horrible image of the infected on the wall. From afar, he saw a dead body on the bed. Josh found the facility and stumbled into Dobbs. He then asked Dob about his brother, but Dob lies and told him that Marcus went looking for help. Josh suggested that they go and find Marcus, but Dob pointed the gun at Josh and asked him not to come closer, as he was infected. Marcus followed the map and found a way up. He thought that someone was behind him, but he just wants to escape. He walked into Josh and Dob. Seeing Marcus still alive, Dob was surprised. Marcus confronted Dob about leaving him behind. Josh tried to calm the two, said that they should look for a cure. Dob then told Josh about Marcus and Penny affair. Josh got angry and tried to attack Marcus. Seeing the two fight, Dob tried to run away but Marcus knocked him out with a punch. Turns out, they was just pretending to fight so Marcus can get Dob's gun. Marcus and Josh decided to find the doctor together. Dob said he doesn't know what to do, but then accidentally opened the door by pressing a button. Behind the door, the boys found Bridget, who was wearing a mask. She said that she can help the three of them escape, and said that they should leave right away. Suddenly, Camilla appears and said that Bridget was lying. She then removes her mask, revealing her deformed face. Marcus then told the two girls that he needs to find the doctor. They found the quarantine room with Dr. Edward and Porter. Edward said that he need to wait for his colleague. Marcus said that everyone is dead. It seems like the doctor didn't know what happened. Josh told the doctor that he needs to save Penny, but the doctor was confused. Josh then explained that he was the one talking to him through the walkie-talkie. Suddenly, Porter said that the doctor was just trying to take their boat, and he is the one who got Bridget infected. Edward was isolated by the group. Marcus decided to trust Porter. He told Josh to take Edward's weapon. Learning that Josh was infected at the beach, Camilla suspects that the doctor has flushed infected water to the ocean, but Edward replies that he has no idea. Camilla didn't trust him. She continues to accuse the doctor of trying to spread the disease to the world, so then he can sell his vaccine for a profit. Camilla said that the lab should be destroyed. Marcus was puzzled, but then listened to Camilla. He told Josh to go back to Penny. Bridget can follow him, and Dob will guard the doctor. Marcus, Camilla and Porter went to the self-destruct chamber. But then, Dob was hurt. It seems like he was infected back in the cave. Josh and Bridget were heading to the beach, but his infection started to spread. Bridget asked Josh where the boat is, then hit Josh with a log, knocking his jaw out. Back at the lab, seeing Dob's condition, Edward lied to Dob that he can fix him. Dob listened and was killed by the doctor. The other trio head to a basement. Porter was given the task to turn on the kill switch, as the basement was filled with corpse. At the beach, Bridget found the boat, and was about to leave, but she was stopped by Penny. Penny asked who she was, but Bridget said it is not important, and she needs to leave. Penny knows something was off, so she tried to stop Bridget. The two then fight each other, which ultimately lead to their demise. When they were outside, Marcus stumbled upon Dob's dead body. The three ran to the beach and on his way, and saw Josh has died as well. Marcus is very angry. He went to find the doctor but was ambushed by him. He said that Marcus has been infected, and wanted to leave him on the island. Marcus tried to knock down Edward but was shot by him. The doctor then talks about how he is the savior of the world. Camilla told Porter that his wife is dead, and Edward was lying to him. Porter then put a bullet to the doctor's head, killing him off. During Edward's dying breath, Camilla approached him, and said the world that the doctor has told her. In order to save humanity, there must be a sacrifice. The three went to the boat. The lab explodes behind their back. Seems like it was the end. On their way back, the group still can't contact any help. Porter gave the two some water, then proceed to leave the room, shutting the door. Camilla drank the water, then Marcus starts talking about the image he saw back in the lab, and about the lab rat. The two suspects that something was off. Looking at the water bottle, there is blood inside. They went looking for Porter and found a needle filled with blood. Suddenly, there was a gunshot outside. The captain was killed, and the engine was shut down. Porter left the gun and his clothes behind. The infection started to spread, and the two was trapped on the boat, waiting to die. The end of the movie shows the outbreak origin was from a lab rat. The rat was infected when Porter bleeds himself with a fishing hook. He attacked the guard, with the purpose of letting the rat escape. No one notices the missing rat, so he went to the safe vault along with everyone else. The message that Josh received was also from Porter. Everything was according to his plan. In the end, Porter was the sole survivor.